No one's done more to expose the deep state than me. Not gonna allow you to be misled.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. The cultural dynamics have changed now and permanently, forever. Wokeness is dead. What has replaced it is something so much better. This is what has replaced it. Donald Trump ringside at UFC, standing next to the most powerful member of the Kennedy dynasty, leading 25,000 people in downtown Manhattan in a USA. This is what has replaced wokeism, and Donald Trump is the undisputed champion of culture right now. That's why the heavyweight champion of the world is giving Donald Trump his belt. And it's why places like Ukraine and Russia are going to the negotiating table saying they want peace. Hamas is saying they want peace with Israel. China is saying they don't want any war. Everyone is saying the champion is back, the man in the arena. And some of the biggest names on earth, like Joe Rogan, are saying this is what we want for the future of America. Look at the way that Trump greeted Joe Rogan last night. It's a beautiful thing to see. It actually is. This is how you save culture. Wokeism is how you destroy culture. Weakness is something that nobody wants to see on the world stage. And all of this, the roaring economy that's already here, the peace that's breaking out around the world, was a millimeter away from not happening. This close. A bullet, a turn of the head, the hand of God, I would argue, kept President Trump alive in a moment that he should have been dead. I mean, by every right and measure. That assassin had a clean shot and was able to fire off 8 rounds on President Trump. We won't forget it. They want you to forget it. They don't want you to ask questions about it. One of the people who has been a Secret Service agent, been a member of the New York Police Department, obviously worked with the FBI, somebody who's very knowledgeable and versed on this, and was the strongest voice during this moment in American history where we saw the near assassination of President Trump multiple times in this campaign. It should never happen again, is Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino was inside of the arena with Donald Trump last night, and he just posted this. Instincts always kick in. Dan Bongino looking around like the old Secret Service agent he is. Many people speculating that this could have been really a low-key announcement that he's going to lead Donald Trump's Secret Service. Again, we were that close. This close to not having a President Trump. Scoop, the level of intrigue with who Trump will choose as his new Secret Service director was off the charts last night at UFC. Both Sean Curran, who's the leader of the Trump's Secret Service detail, and Dan Bongino were on hand, along with several other top nominees for Trump's incoming cabinet, like Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, and Vivek. The group, which includes Speaker Johnson, Kid Rock, Jelly Roll, and Don Jr., Tom Rogan, of course, Dana White, looked like they were having a blast. Bongino was one of Trump's personal guests, and Curran, who appears in the iconic assassination attempts, also on deck to manage to crack a smile in a photo. Both men are contenders for the U.S. Secret Service post, a tough job that will require the leader capable of overhauling the agency. Curran is in the bottom photo attached here. Sources say the Secret Service community tell me Bongino has U.S. Secret Service agents protecting Trump last night. Help is on the way, is what Bongino said. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see here is the man from the iconic photograph when Donald Trump was assassinated, had the assassination attempt. This is Sean Curran. You probably recognize him. He had glasses on during the Butler assassination attempt. So he's there at Donald Trump's side. The two really like each other. And he is, well, in the running with Bongino. Bongino is the man, says Steve Bannon, about the news that Dan Bongino is under consideration for Secret Service director. That's a high endorsement. There is a breaking news piece here on X, top of X, potential new head of Secret Service. Dan Bongino is under serious consideration. This man should run the Secret Service, says the Hodge twins. Dan Bongino obviously teasing this out. Instincts always kick in with this post, man. And this post has done numbers, 39,000 likes, 3.3 thousand reposts, 1.2 million views. Dan Bongino knows Pete Hegseth. He knows a ton of people inside of the greater orbit. You can see him standing here by Trump's side, like in a protection vector. There's nobody who I would trust more than Dan Bongino to become Secret Service director. Rumors are that he's being considered for the job. I really can't think of anybody better suited than him. Rumors are circulating that Bongino is under consideration for U.S. Secret Service. That would be massive. What do you guys think? Obviously, I think that this would be exceptional. I mean, I think I think he'd be a great press secretary, but this would be a more important position for Donald Trump because you're talking about Donald Trump's life. Donald Trump's life in the hands of the Secret Service director. Now, Dan Bongino posted this photo a week after President Trump won the election. And while Donald Trump was, the initial speculations that Dan Bongino would get this position were beginning to bubble up. And Bongino posted this. The reason why this would be such an excellent position for Dan Bongino is that he freaking clearly knows what he's talking about. In the wake of Donald Trump's assassination attempt, this is what Dan Bongino said to a congressional panel about the changes that need to take place at the Secret Service. This is the man who should be Secret Service director.
Well, thanks for your time. Thank you for doing this. Sound okay? Everybody hear me back there? Yeah. Great. Fantastic. Listen, let's just get right to the point. This was an apocalyptic security failure. A man was murdered in front of his family. 3 people were shot on live television, including President Trump in the head, who came within 2 millimeters of having his head explode on national television in front of millions of people. There's no sugarcoating it. It's no time for BS. Unfortunately, as Congressman Crane and Mills both indicated, the story seems to have been vanquished to the phantom zone of media coverage. It's amazing how we're still talking about JFK's assassination, but nobody seems to want to talk about President Trump being shot in the head on national television, despite the fact that we have no answers. So I have 5 minutes, so I want to keep it quick, and I want to make 3 points. I worked in the Secret Service for 12 years. I loved it. I worked with some really amazing men and women who gave everything. I mean, a couple of them literally gave everything. I know guys who've gotten bizarre diseases overseas, like chikungunya fever and protection operations. Everybody gave a little bit of something in the Secret Service, and it was a real honor to say I was part of it. But they have 3 institutional problems, I believe, in the macro will help us get to the bottom of how this Secret Service apocalyptic failure won't happen again. First, they have a technology problem. The joke in the Secret Service, which is sadly no longer funny when I was there, and it wasn't funny then either, is they rely on yesterday's technology tomorrow. Think about that. Yesterday's technology tomorrow. Everything from computer systems that waste agents' times, filling out time and attendance records they were doing, to Congressman Crane and I discussing the fact that they only implemented slings, a technology as old as the wheel, about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years into my time in the Secret Service, which is embarrassing. The weaponry was old, everything was old. These are things I would have talked about sooner if they didn't create a security crisis, and I obviously didn't want to air them publicly. Now you're seeing what happens when you don't have a drone up at a site you could have bought for $39.99 on Amazon. Second, another adage in the Secret Service, you've heard even the new acting director discuss, is the more with less approach. There is no more with less, there's less with less, okay? The Secret Service more with less approach only works if you produce more. That's how capitalism works. You produce a flat screen TV that was probably 20 years ago, $10,000. It's $200 at Walmart now. They produce a better TV with less. That's not what the Secret Service did. They produced less with more. They were given more money and produced less. A 20-year-old criminal outsmarted them on a $40 drone technology piece of device. You're telling me that's more with less? That's disgusting. That's nothing with less. That's less with more. Their budget went up. You guys know, you're appropriators. You know that. Third, and I'll wrap it up with this, turn it over to Mr. Prince. The investigative mission, the Secret Service, that they're telling you they need to make them better agents is total crap. That's garbage. Their agents are talented, smart people. They can figure out how to do protection without running out cheap $20 counterfeit notes at 7-Eleven on a Friday night while the president's getting shot in the head. How is it we have a DEA, we have an FBI, we have TIGTA, the IRS, CBP, and 1,000 other entities with a $6 trillion budget, which I know a lot of you guys have been fighting against this grotesque spending. $3 billion goes to the Secret Service, and we're wasting time running out counterfeit notes. It's a serious problem, counterfeiting. Granted, it might be a legacy item. They started doing counterfeiting. That's not what we do now. Get rid of the investigative mission, turn it over to other people, let them do what they do best and should do best. Protection. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you for doing this. Thanks to the panel.